In the countdown to Richmond's 2018 preliminary final next Friday night, Tony Greenberg reflects on the penultimate match of the 1944 season, when the great Jack Dyer produced an outstanding performance to lift the Tigers into the grand final. Richmond was chasing back-to-back premierships as it entered the 1944 finals series. The Tigers, who had beaten Essendon by 5 points in a thrilling grand final the previous year, finished the 44 home and away season on top of the latter by just 0.1% from Fitzroy. In the second semi-final, Fitzroy edged out the Yellow and Blacks by 11 points, setting up a replay of the 43 grand final, Richmond v Essendon in the preliminary final. It was an undermanned Richmond outfit that took to the Junction Oval for the big clash with the Dons, with key players fullback Ron Durham injured, Rover de Caris injured, and centreman Jack Broadstock suspended, all missing. Given Richmond's injury woes, Essendon was a warm favourite with the football tipsters to make it through to the grand final. But Jack Dyer had other ideas. The Tigers' dynamic captain-coach pulled a shock move at the start of the game, when he placed himself at full forward. Dyer was opposed to inexperienced, at the time, Essendon fullback Gordon Lane and gave him a tour of time in the opening term, booting 4 goals through clever bodywork and strong marking. Captain Blood continued to dominate throughout the match, finishing with 9 goals, and guiding Richmond to a meritorious upset win, and a grand final berth. Here's the Age newspaper's report of the Tigers' 1944 preliminary final success. Defeating Essendon easily by 21 points in the preliminary final at St Kilda on Saturday, Richmond will play off for the 1944 premiership pennant in the grand final against Fitzroy next Saturday. There was plenty of fire in the game, and Richmond, with rep superiority, monopolized the play, and gave a polished exhibition of cooperative football, in which superior position play, smart hand passing, and complete understanding were prominent features. Dyer's switch to full forward was a masterstroke. His effectiveness in that position practically won the game for Richmond in the first quarter. Against Dyer, Lane, with little experience as a fullback, rendered impotent, and after the devastating first term Reynolds sent Buttsworth across for a while in an attempt to check the all-powerful Tiger captain's activity. When the change of positions was made, it was surprising that Lane was not sent into attack, instead of persevering with Bushby, Essendon's champion ruckman, who was partially crippled with a twisted ankle and was useless forward against fast-moving, robust defenders in Maguire and Waldron. Bushby's accident was a great blow to Essendon. Richmond from the start were more purposeful than against Fitzroy. The ruck work was cleaner and more efficient, and in playing the open game they created the loose man and unbalanced and baffled the opposition with paralysing bursts of exhilarating football which was thrilling to watch. Waldron, Maguire and Smeaton stood out in Essendon's initial threat started by Reynolds. Smeaton drove the ball well down and Dyer, at full forward, received in goal on the run. Richmond kept hammering at the Don defences and Plummer, Betson, Bushby and Buttsworth, who had been ill during the morning, turned the play several times, and their efforts were full of merit. Free to Griggs, who was doing well in the pivot position, gave Smith a chance, but only a single resulted from a kick off the ground. From this stage it was all Richmond. Merritt on the wing, with dazzling speed and clever dodging, was a champion. Dyer outplayed his opponent, and his uncanny judgment enabled him at times to break through a cordon of bewildered defenders and gain the objective. Essendon opened the second quarter vigorously, but Maguire returned, and play swung back as Buttsworth jammed a healthy thrust started by Jones. Then Essendon, with concerted and persistent football, broke through, and Reynolds gained the first goal. Then Caston started his side forward, and the nippy Hutchinson snapped the ball through for the second. Essendon's game had improved. Griggs in the centre was sparkling, and the bigger men were more in the picture. The forwards, however, were too easily unsettled, and could not cope with their virile opponents to finish off the moves started by Griggs, Caston and Reynolds. Some bad fortune came Essendon way when Lane and kicking off came outside the goal. Bass Umpire Hawkins brought the ball back, and bounced it, and Dyer kicked the ball through the goal. At the interval, Richmond had a grip on the game with a lead of 22 points. Playing relentlessly, Richmond opened the play in the third quarter with purpose. There was no slackening of pace, and with lightning passes around the wing, and picking out their teammates, who gave timely leads, they were all over the Dons in the general play, and the Tigers exhibited that brand of cohesive football which wins premierships when followed by accurate goal-kicking, such as Dyer's. He had scored 9 goals by three-quarter time, and at that stage, with a lead of 48 points, Richmond were in a happy frame of mind. Essendon, in an endeavour to pull the game out of the fire, started the final term grimly and determinedly. Splendid backing up and clever shepherding gave them the call, and Kyle Gold. Dwyer turned 2 more attacks, but Bushby, crashing through, snapped a goal, and same player obtained a similar result when he secured from the crush. Dyer came on the ball in an endeavour to check the Dons, who were doing well, mainly through the good play of Griggs, Casson, Betson and Reynolds. Essendon continued on the aggressive, and again swung into attack. A free to Reynolds for a goal acted like a tonic to the supporters, who cheered, and applauded the revival. Jones was active for Richmond, and gained 2 singles. Fighting hard and in a valiant attempt to wipe out the deficit, Essendon played hard to pierce the defences, but Waldron and Maguire were solid, and they repulsed the invaders. Dyer scented trouble, and went into defence, and turned the next attack which started a counter, and Randall Gold. Reynolds retaliated with 1 for Essendon, when he received from Betson. The Dons were playing more smoothly at this period, and it is surprising that Reynolds did not liven their attack by switching lane from defence when they had the run on. Richmond, with excellent stamina, were able to hold Essendon in check and win by 21 points. Quarter scores: Richmond 8.2, 10.5, 15.9, 16.12, 108, Essendon 0.5, 5.7, 7.9, 12.15, 87, goals, Richmond, Dyer 9, Berg 3, Randall 2, Wilson, Bodden. Goals, Essendon, Bushby 3, Powell 3, Reynolds 3, Hutchinson, McIver, Smith. Best, every man in Richmond side is worthy of mention. The team was nicely blended and balanced, and displayed excellent cooperative football throughout. Those to stand out above the others were Dyer, best on ground, Merritt, Burge, Maguire, Waldron, Priestley, Morris, Smeaton. Essendon, Griggs, Betson, Casson, Reynolds, Hurd, Plummer, Tunks. Attendance, 39,000.